How valuable are you? That's the question that I have for today, and I'd like to talk about this. So, when you look at life and what is happening to you and the value that you add, have you ever asked yourself, how valuable are you? Wherever you go, do you add value? And adding value wherever you go is comes back to understanding who you are. If you don't know who you are, you're gonna struggle. This includes knowing what are your values, what are your core values, what do you stand for. So you could be employed or working in a company, and when you look at their values and you realize they are far apart with yours, and you are struggling in that company, and there's a lot that is happening, and when you sit down and you reflect, you realize that there's misalignment, and that is an opportunity to shape up and change and find a place where you're suited. But knowing your value is knowing who you are spiritually, knowing who you are emotionally, physically, and mentally. And that is important because those are the key things that one has to look at. If your emotional health is not okay, it's at a 1 or 0, 1 being poor, 10 being amazing. You're gonna struggle in life. Your spirituality, that what is it that grounds you when everything has failed, when the world has said you're not a good person, when everybody's against you, whether your parents, your leaders, or everyone. How do you ground yourself? How do you connect to your source of who you are? How do you connect your mind, body, and spirit? And physically, because this is the body that we currently have and we need to take care of it. As I age, I just realize how important it is to take care of my body, to make sure that I'm healthy, to make sure that I'm exercising. Like today, it was a hectic day. And yesterday, I made a commitment to myself, because every night I make a commitment to myself of what I'm going to do, because everyone has got that conversation with themselves. And I said I'm going to go to gym. But this morning, as I'm waking up, preparing everyone, making lunch, and just navigating and looking at the clients, I realized, oh, gym might not happen. But I remembered that I made a commitment, and I said I'm gonna squeeze in 30 minutes within the day. And I did go to gym, but if I didn't have that conversation and also showing up for myself and valuing myself more, my health, I wouldn't have done that. So at times we complain about people not taking you seriously, opportunities flying by, missing you. But the question is, when are you honest to yourself? Are you congruent with yourself? The standards that you have for other people, do you give yourself those standards? So it's quite important that you value yourself. You take care of your mental health, physical, spiritual, and also your I would say your leisure, because when you don't have leisure in your life, leisure doesn't include your spouse, your kids, and everyone. What is it that you do to nourish yourself, to revive yourself, to increase your creativity? You'll suffer from burnout. I know how it feels to suffer from burnout. I remember when I suffered from it, I went to the doctors, they did all the tests because I was feeling pain all over my body and I couldn't explain it. And I went to different doctors and they just said you need to rest. And also one friend of mine, I met her last month, and she was telling me about her issue with being burnt out. And we're talking about my son last year took a gap year, and I'm like, what a privilege that when you finish matric you can have a gap year. And we're talking about that when we finished matric we never had the opportunity to sit back and have a gap year and reflect. And what she was saying is that she realized when she was in hospital, because she was hospitalized for 2 weeks, that she didn't have a gap year. She didn't have time to reflect and sit back and just look at her life where it is. So I'd like to encourage you. Yeah, I know you might have a busy life. You might have a company or you're working for an employer. Check on your leave days. Give yourself that gap week. It could be 3 days where you just switch off. You tell them you're going to switch off your computers. You might say the company can't run without you. The company can run. You just have to learn to delegate and teach people what they need to do. And you start practicing that now. I remember when I started in my engineering field, and I was on leave. I was in Durban. I remember my boss called me and said, "This and this and this. Why haven't you done it?" And I'm in a holiday mode. I can't even remember because it was required by the company. So from there, I learned to give proper handover and also to train others and not just have all the information to myself, which at times we tend to do that, and just hogging on information won't help you. It's how you use that information. So how valuable are you in your marriage, in your relationship with your kids, yourself, your co-workers, your colleagues, your wife, your spouse, your relatives, your caregivers, the community, and everyone. So it's important that you know who you are, and it also comes back to mastering yourself. It comes back to loving yourself unconditionally because we're imperfect beings, and it's all about leveling up and understanding on a daily basis who you are, how you're growing, how your consciousness is growing. With that being said, I'd like to invite you to the Self Mastery membership, which is a membership where we meet twice a month and where we have got different themes in this month. We're still talking about self-love, how to cultivate that, how to have boundaries, and addressing some of the issues, because how you love yourself is how you were taught from a young age from your caregiver. So how we change that conditioning and the narrative, and because sometimes you might be affected by umjolo, and umjolo is showing you flames. What umjolo, what relationships are showing you is the unhealed traumas or the triggers or the unmet needs which were not met when you were young, and the other person just showing that to you. So WhatsApp me on 061-518-3208. So how valuable are you wherever you are? I am Coach Mashudu. Thank you.